Hey, my name is James Nookson. This is the property news for December 2023. What a month. This has been a crazy month. So much that will really impact property investors, homeowners. House prices have been moving. Interest rates have been moving. The King's Speech and lots more. So I've got lots to cover in this video. While you're here, if you haven't done already, do smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. We're on the way to 18,000 subscribers now. Thank you to all the loyal watchers on the channel. We had 600,000 views last month. That's one thing that we can talk about in the news. That was up from, I think, 200,000 the month before. So thank you to everyone that did that. Also, let's make sure we beat that this month. It'll be a tough one with Christmas in the way, so make sure that you smash that like button, guys. Tickle the like button. Just do something with the like button. Come on, I'll wait. It's Christmas time, so make sure you give me a little Christmas treat by smashing the like button. That really helped get those extra views last month. Yeah, we upset a few people. We had comments saying, why are you asking me to tickle the like button or smash it? Come on, guys, just get involved. It's Christmas month. Smash it. So, what's going on? Well, the biggest news, I think, last month was the King's Speech. And that was really big news. Now, the King's Speech, they were talking about leasehold reform. We had the Leasehold Reform Act. And while it wasn't perfect, it was definitely better than people expected. Because lots of promises happen. They get talked about, they get promised, and then they get missed off. They never actually come to fruition. So in the King's Speech, they talked about leasehold being abolished. They talked about new houses not having leases going forward. And they put the bill forward last week. That was missing. But I think that that still could be included. And if it's not, let's just say it's not included, most new home builders are not actually making leasehold houses anymore. That has already stopped. Most of them. It's dropped dramatically in the last year. So that's a big win. What they've also said is the cost of extending a lease is going to be vastly reduced. Now, a lot of people wanted something called marriage value abolished. That didn't quite happen. They didn't tell us the calculations on the cost, but they did give us an example. And what it showed was the cost of extending a lease halved. It doesn't show that that's going to happen on all leases, but it did show that it's halved. It also showed us that you, or we, the leaseholder, do not have to pay the freeholder's legal expenses anymore, which is very good. Leases are going to be able to be extended instead of 90 years to 990 years. That is a huge win because that effectively brings it on parity with a freehold anyway. Another big win, which a lot of you have really been interested in, is service charges. Now, service charges, they're not ever going to get abolished. You need some money in a pot to do maintenance and do work in the property. That's very important. However, what you also need to understand is that we need some transparency, because what happens with management companies is they don't pick the best insurance, they pick the one that gives them the best commission. Going forward, once this bill passes, they're not able to take a commission off insurance. They'll be able to charge a fee for setting up the insurance, but they will not be able to take a commission. That's going to be a very big win for a lot of people. With the service charge, they've got to give transparency. So where are the costs going? Did they get a kickback off a contractor for doing work? This also allows you collectively as leaseholders to get rid of the management company if you can run it on your own. Now, that might not always be the best case because you get leaseholder arguments and stuff like that. So a management company can be good, but service charge transparency is definitely a very big win. You already had with this bill previously, when you extend your lease, ground rent will be abolished. We were hoping ground rent would just go for everybody. It's not. It's still sticking around. But when you extend your lease, that's going to be a big win. So the King's Speech was very big. Now, what also happened after the King's Speech, we made a video. That was our biggest video. It had 200,000 views. That was a third of our views on the whole channel last month. 2,000 people commented on that. A lot of people said, well, this is just talk in the King's Speech. This will never become law. This bill is already being discussed in Parliament. This week, it has been discussed in Parliament. That means that this is going to go through very quickly. Now, why would that happen? Labour has said if they get in power, which if you look at the polls looks likely at the moment, they will just abolish leasehold. So the Conservatives had to do something big. They're trying to win the election. So they brought this forward. This was out of their 10 bills in their top 3. I think this is a very big win for leaseholders. Next, interest rates held. So the Bank of England held interest rates. Now, obviously, you know, inflation has been an absolute disaster for the last couple of years, peaking at nearly 12%. It's down at 4.6% now, still very high, but it had been a big drop because previous month was 6 point something. We went to 4.6. Great progress. However, the Bank of England still could have put interest rates up. There was talk about that. In fact, what we normally do is we follow the Fed, the Federal Reserve. That's the phrase that's often bandied around. Follow the Fed. The Fed didn't raise interest rates. What's actually very good is at the moment they're talking about lowering interest rates in America. Potentially, that means that could be very good for us. And so the Bank of England held interest rates for the second month in a row. Now, more analysts believe than ever before that now interest rates have peaked. Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England, they've been doing the interview rounds recently saying interest rates are going to be held for longer, but they're going to say that. No one knows for sure. That might be true. That could be totally true. But they're never going to tell you, you know what, we're going to drop the interest rates in March, because if they told us that, we would act as if that's already happened. And so the restrictive interest rates that they've got now to push inflation down further wouldn't be effective. And so it's important to take whatever they say with a grain of salt. They've been wrong so many times. And ultimately, the Bank of England will follow the Fed as they always have done recently. That's the safe bet. So rates were held. That meant a huge sigh of relief. What that meant, that mortgage rates came down. Mortgage rates down. Now, what does that mean? Well, the interest rate, the Bank of England rate, isn't the rate that you ultimately pay from your lender. Lenders have been quiet this year. At one stage in the summer, transactions were down 20%. That's a huge decrease in transactions. Then they dropped to 15%. The latest data is saying that we're down around 10%. So the market is picking up. Now, lenders haven't got so much business, so they're fighting for that business. When you're looking for a mortgage lender, you're going to look on a comparison site or use a broker. You're going to use one of the cheapest deals that are out there. Your broker is not going to bring you the most expensive rate. They're going to bring you the top 2, 3, 4 rates that you can get personally yourself. Now, lenders need to be in that top 1 to 3, 1 to 4, because if they're not going to get a look in. And so big lenders, HSBC, Nationwide, Halifax, Virgin Money, Land Bay for buy-to-lets, they've been cutting their rates, which has been really good. What's also happened is there's some creative deals out there. So in the buy-to-let industry, I've seen this more, but it is in residential as well. You've got some rates. We saw a rate with Land Bay. No, who was it with? LendInvest. And it was 3.99%. But the fee was 7%, right? And so a lot of people didn't quite get why that potentially could be a good deal. Now, if you're a buy-to-let investor and you have an interest rate today at 1.2% and you need to remortgage, you couldn't go on to a 6% rate because your mortgage rate, your payments, your monthly payments might go up around 4 times in that scenario. So this gives you an option where your payments are going to go up a couple of times or double, triple, but it's significantly better. This 7%, you can kick back on the end of the loan so you don't physically pay it and you can worry about it at a later date. Now, is actually not that much more expensive. If you split that 7% over 2 years or 5 years, it's not actually that much more expensive to do it this way, because if you whack that 2% onto here, then you're at 5.99%. So it could be a good option for some people, and allowing their deal to still stack up. That allows them to keep that property. Maybe they can then do some renovations to increase the value, or they can look at renting it out as an HMO or other strategies to get high cash flow. It's not for everyone, but it is an option, and that's what we need at the moment. And so these lower interest rates lead into the next part, which is house prices. Now, so far, we've only had one lot of house price data in from Nationwide, and we get that first of the month, which yesterday's video discussed. Analysts expected Nationwide to report a 0.4% drop in house prices. They didn't. They actually said house prices are up 0.2%. And their reasoning for that was the drop in mortgage rates. So the drop in mortgage rates has gone that this time last year, you'd be lucky to find a rate cheaper than 6.5% after the mini budget. It was horrendous. It was really, really expensive to borrow money. Lenders were panicking. The pound was crashing. It was a bad time. Some lenders even pulled deals from the market, so there was no options. That actually, we've got a lot better now. So we've got some rates at around 4.5%. And so that's got some more activity going in the market. There's been people that have just sat on the sidelines that want to buy, that could afford to buy, that wanted a better rate, or they wanted house prices to come down. Now, in that time that they've waited, they may have had a pay rise because inflation has been really tough. A lot of people have had pay rises. They've also had house prices come down marginally in that time over that year, and the rates are around 4.5%. That means they've come back into the market. There's not lots of stock on the market at the moment, not lots of inventory for sale. And so that gives house prices that bit more stability. And that's been a great thing so far. So it's been a busy month. There's some good news here. If you're a leaseholder, this is going to be great news when this bill actually gets passed. Rates being held is good. Mortgage rates that you actually get have dropped. Another great news. And house prices going up slightly. Even if they went down slightly, I'd rather them go down 0.2% than 2% or 3% in a month, which has happened historically. So it's been great. Who knows what's going to happen in 2024? I'll be making some videos on that in the next few days. But I think this year could have been a lot worse. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Go and tickle the like button. Go and smash the like button. Just do something with that like button. Share the video with other people that you know should watch this channel. Subscribe, hit the bell, and go and check out this video right here.